Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar regarding digital and growth marketing, more specifically, how to kickstart your career in digital and growth marketing. So I'm Olta. I'm the orientation and admission specialist at Talent Garden Vienna. And I have with me here Dominik. He is the expert that will be holding this webinar today. But at first, I would like to share with you a presentation regarding what Talent Garden is. Here you go. So Talent Garden. So you guys get to know a little bit us and what we are about before we go more into depth into today's topic. This is the agenda. A really short introduction about our company, and then we will go into depth into kickstart your career in digital and growth marketing and how to create your digital marketing portfolio. And at the end, we will have also a Q&A with me and Dominik. Who we are. So 3 pillars when it comes to describing Talent Garden. We have co-working, innovation school, and corporate transformation. So co-working is the way that we actually started this whole thing in 2011 in Italy as a small co-working space for digital and tech professionals. And then we actually like to see ourselves more as a community than a co-working space. We have also the Innovation School. This is something that we added after, and we offer trainings in different areas, always related to the digital and tech world, for people that are already into the business and for people that would like to take the first steps into this world. Also for the corporate transformation, we offer trainings for corporates and companies that would like to change the way they work and maybe go more into the digitalization that is nowadays very important. As I said before, we are a community, not just a space. This is our path for you to see a little bit visually our growth. So 2011, we were very small. We started in Italy, and then we went even bigger in Italy. Then we went to Spain, Austria, Ireland, Denmark. Lately, we also opened our campus in France, which is really exciting. Even though it is a hard time because of the lockdown, we still went for it, and it's actually great. And we are also opening soon in Italy, in a few other campuses. This is our map. So in 8 countries, in 17 cities, we have a total of 21 campuses, and our goal is to go even bigger. Talent Garden Innovation School, more specifically, we started in 2015 this educational part of our company, and we started this in Italy, then we added in Austria and in Denmark, and now we also have online, so we like to think of it as a European school because we have the chance to have very international classes, and we have courses that are in English and can be actually done by a lot of people around Europe. We have a few different areas where we offer this kind of training. So it's data, business, marketing, coding, and design. And we offer different kind of formats from part-time, from masterclasses, part-time, and full-time, depending on the needs of each one. So at the Talent Garden Innovation School, we have in English these bootcamps and programs. The full-time bootcamps, UX Design and Code Master, are full-time formats from 9 weeks to 12 weeks, and the part-time programs are more work-friendly part-time programs with a duration of 8 weeks with live sessions twice per week. We also have some recorded videos so that you can go through at your own pace during the week. To go more into detail regarding the topic that we are going to talk about today, the program Growth and Digital Marketing is an online part-time program, and we have different modules from, so 8 modules from the first one to the 8th. So we start from the foundation of digital marketing and we go to how to build a growth hacking machine. This is a program that is created from Dominik that is with us today here. And if you guys have questions, you can email me anytime. You can go to our website for more information. You can download the brochure. and we will gladly come back to you with answers regarding this. But right now, I would invite Dominik. I would just stop sharing my screen. And Dominik, welcome, Dominik Berger. This time, what's my pronunciation? Better?
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so welcome. Introduce yourself a little bit before going to the topic,
Sure.
so people get to know you a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the intro. Hi, I'm Dominik. I'm the founder and CEO of the digital agency called Attention Fox, where we mainly do these things that I'm teaching also in the Growth and Digital Marketing Bootcamp at Talent Garden. At Talent Garden, I'm the scientific coordinator for this program, which means that I'm responsible for the content and everything around the program. And yeah, I'm here today to introduce you a bit to growth marketing, how to kickstart your career in this field, in digital marketing, growth marketing in general, how to build a portfolio for yourself, also how to put yourself out there for companies, because there are like a lot of companies are hungry for digital and growth marketers at the moment. So I think it's the perfect time to talk about that. And yeah, maybe we can jump into the slides. Cool, amazing. So I'm just like have to get onto my slides as well. Perfect. So, and I'm also here to answer your questions. So please feel free to use the comments box and just put your answers in there. I'm happy to answer them right after or short talk today. And to start right away, I wanted to make it clear, like, what is a growth marketer? What are growth marketers into? And it's like a bit like a difficult relationship, because it's like you are going to be like a specialized generalist or a generalized specialist, as you want to put it. So you have to be good in certain areas, but you also have to like have a solid foundation. So it's like crafting, like also like really like a craft actually, where you have to become an expert like with time, with experience. And just taking a look at what skills are needed from companies, from organizations, and what skills you should build to become like a successful growth and digital marketer. First of all, it's a pretty broad set, but it's also easy to get started on the other hand. So you will need some fundamental skills, and after building like those fundamental skills that we mainly also build like in our bootcamp at the Talent Garden, you need to find basically what's the thing that's burning you, like that really brings you passion, that's really something that you want to go like deep into. So the thing that you want to specialize in. And I like to see it as like 3 levels of skills. And obviously, I have not invented like this model here. This is like driven forward by companies, remote companies like Buffer, also like from Brian Balfour, which we'll see like in a bit again. Also like with Growth with Ward, I've put like the link here below. So this is like this T-shaped model that we will see in a bit is actually driven forward by many companies nowadays, to get like a good mix of skilled people into these companies. So I like these 3 levels of skills that you should aim for. And first of all, it's basically the fundamental skills. So it's like building the house. It's about understanding the principles like the pirate funnel or like customer journeys, the models like the business model canvas or the digital marketing canvas. Also think of common processes like how does experimentation work. And on the other hand, maybe that's like a skill or a thing in general that that is overseen sometimes is the mindset, the growth mindset. So also companies are really looking for a growth mindset that we will also cover in a bit. On the other hand, there is like this generalist skills that you need like for the everyday tasks. And this is like, for example, copywriting or customer retention. So this is the skills that every marketer in a company should actually have and should be able to fulfill for a company's needs. And then there is like the things that should really like be interesting to you, where you want to become like an expert in, and those are like the specialist skills. And those are usually developed on the job, and this could be things like marketing automation, building workflows, or also like onboarding optimization. So taking a look at what we growth and digital marketers do all day, we do quite a lot, and hopefully we will not look like this guy on the skiff here. But we do actually a lot during the day, different things. And this also shows you like the variety of things that you can become an expert in on the long term. So, for example, in the morning, you can conduct some audience research, then create some content for social media. Maybe you're gonna work like in a team with other content creators, copywriters. Then you might want to build like some new workflows, optimized workflows on the marketing automation side, like in HubSpot, for example. Then, you know, there is like an ad campaign running, so you want to check on the performance of the ad campaign. Then you might also want to like really build like a built report for the team so that they know what's going on in the ad campaign, how you're performing, how your team is performing, how the campaign is performing. And like at the end of the day, when you want to be like maybe a bit more creative, then you also might come up with like new ideas for experiments. Experiments are usually like things that you try out on your website, in your app, to become like better in terms of the conversion rates. So you might want to change like the colors of buttons, very simply put, to drive like more conversions. And in the end, of course, like your day will also involve some learning, watching maybe YouTube videos, reading some blogs, listening to a podcast, maybe like catching up with a book, like also joining like conversations in the community on LinkedIn, Facebook groups, wherever. So also learning is usually a big part of the job. And I've been referring to this model of T-shaped marketers. And the reason why we call it T-shaped marketers is really because like your skill set overall will look like a T. So you do have like the foundation, a base knowledge at the top, then some generalist skills I've mentioned before. And then you do have like these things you really want to be an expert in. You want to be like a specialist in. And that's why I said like you become like a specialized generalist, because you do need like some general foundational skills and then like become an expert. And like depending on like how companies interpret this T-shaped marketer model, some call it like channel expertise, but I can also see it as something like just like really the area you want to be an expert in. And to get this more clear, I want to walk you through like the different levels of the skills, just some examples, the foundational skills. As I've said, this is really like the non-marketing specific areas that you should be good at. And first of all, this starts really like with goal setting. So you should be familiar with like with goal setting methods like objectives and key results. Also, the North Star metric shouldn't be like something new to you. So you should understand how to set like meaningful growth goals for your company, your organization. On the other hand, you also need some really basic knowledge in research. So you do not have to become like really a fully dedicated researcher, but you do need like to understand like the basics of statistics, understand like what's significance, understand how to conduct audience research, how to get the data, how to interpret data. That's an important part of the foundation. Also, it's good to have like a basic understanding of like design and UX principles. So what are like dark patterns, for example, or also what makes a great user experience, not only on the web, but also like in an app or like for the whole customer journey. Also understand the like branding and positioning aspects. And this might be especially important if you're gonna work like for a startup or you're currently working for a startup. Then you also have to understand what's like a product market fit, for example, how to get like your company out there, how to really accelerate your growth in this area, so how to position the company. So more on a strategic level. Also, on the other hand, it's good to have some knowledge, some skills, also some experience in storytelling, how to tell like a great story through content, also along like the customer journey. And since growth and digital marketing is really about being data-driven, so data is really fueling our initiatives, you have to be also keen really on getting your hands dirty with data and analytics. So understanding, for example, how Google Analytics is implemented, how to use like the things that you can draw from the platforms. And last but not least, also understand a bit of like psychology, behavioral psychology to be precise, so to understand like what makes humans stick to a product, to service, not only like in a way like to get them like hooked into your product, but also like to drive customer retention in the end. And this seems like a lot, but in the end, it's not to be like it's not about to become like an expert in all those fields, but to have like really an understanding of the most basic principles and models of those areas. The more generalist skills, those are really like marketing specific, I would say, and those are useful like across all marketing channels or across all marketing teams, if they're like separate teams in your company or in the company you are like you're looking forward to join. So I think copywriting is a very underestimated skill that we marketers should really pursue. I think copywriting is very, very important because you actually will write ads, you will have like some touch points with copywriting at some point. Also understanding really how A/B testing works, what is like a significant result of such a test, how to set up meaningful tests. Also understand how to make your customers happy, work like in a customer-centric way, understand retention. Also understand funnels, which means like we in our bootcamp, we always refer to the pirate funnel, which is very common also among like startups and growth-driven companies. So think of how to acquire customers, how to really convince them of your product and service, and how to get like really turn them into happy customers in the end. It's also good to have some basic, really like basic knowledge around like HTML and CSS, not to build like whole websites, but maybe to do like some changes yourself, maybe inject like some code snippets for tracking. If you want to track something through the Facebook pixel, for example, it can become handy to also add this yourself. Also maybe understand how tag managers work and stuff like that. And in the end, also understanding how to optimize experiences for conversion rates is like, of course, like a general skill on the one hand, but on the other hand, you really can like become also like an expert in this field if you want to. So just an example, I've mentioned Buffer before, which is like this social media platform, like founded many years ago, working like entirely remotely, and they came up like with this T-shaped marketer framework for themselves. And actually they also use like this base knowledge, this marketing foundation, and then they add like the channel expertise. And this is an example from their website, from their very like transparent about like the company culture and how like the teams are built. So you can also look this up yourself later. And this is like an example for Brian, who is like a digital marketing specialist. And here you can see, and I will just like use my mouse here. Here you can see that like he is a specialist in community management and social media, and he's like just a beginner in conversion rate optimization, in PR, and for viral marketing. So you can see if we compare this like to Mike, who's the product marketing specialist, that the profiles can look like very different, right? So the change like here really a lot here if you take a look at the channel expertise. So for example, Mike, who is a product marketing specialist at Buffer, is very experienced in email marketing, in product marketing, of course, also social media, community, and content marketing. And there you see like those profiles actually are very like different. Those profiles also complement each other. So they basically built their team to have like a full, marketed team, which means like that you have people specialized like in email marketing, in conversion rate optimization, in community management, and so on. So that they have like a complete profile with all the people in your team. So this is also maybe an exercise for yourself that you can do easily in the evening. Just think of the basic skills that you have, and then like the skills that you want to become like an expert in, or maybe you're already like an expert in some of those fields. And for yourself, I think it's also important to think of your own positioning a bit like on the job market. So if you really want to kickstart your career in the field, think of the things you want to learn, think of the things that you're good at already, or you want to become good at, and also think of the things that you enjoy. So do not forget about the things that you're like not good at, but also enjoy doing. So if you're like someone who hates numbers, who hates really data and working like with analytics, don't become an expert in that, but maybe like go into a more creative direction. So if not like having an analytical mind, but more like a creative mind, maybe you want to go like more towards like content creation and content marketing. So also think of not only what you enjoy and what you're good in already, or you want to become good in, but also think of what others need. So what do companies, organizations need? And I think the sweet spot is really here in between, like something you enjoy doing, something you're good at, and something a company, an organization needs. That's really the perfect match. So that's something you should really aim for, because it doesn't make any sense to become good at something that you hate and then apply for a company that you will actually become yourself unhappy, but also make like maybe the team there unhappy. So I think that's something to keep in mind, like these 3 components. Also, as growth marketers, as like the name suggests, it's all about growing not only like on a skill level, but also like on personal level. And this is why our brain is really the most important tool. And this is why it's so important to not forget about like the growth mindset. So I really want to encourage you to foster a growth mindset if you pursue a career in digital and growth marketing. And there's a really good book called Mindset from Carol Dweck, a PhD researcher in psychology from the United States. And she found out that actually our brain can change a lot, and that we can really foster this growth mindset ourselves, and that we always can become like better. So if we decide that we want to become better, we actually become better. So this concept is also known as neuroplasticity. Sorry for misspelling that. It's a hard word, but it's important to just remember that you yourself and your brains can really change anytime. So if you want to decide that you want to become like an expert in something, you can become an expert if you put in the work, of course, and the hours. And there are like some things that you can do to foster a growth mindset. First of all, think of your strengths and also weaknesses, and also acknowledge your weaknesses. So I've said before, if you're a more creative person and you're not that like into analytical skills, then just really focus on the creative skills and acknowledge that you're not that good in data, which is fine, because people are looking also for creative people. And I think it's important to really be clear on your purpose. So keep asking yourself why I'm doing this. And this is also about like enjoying the things that you do, and just really get rid of the word failing, because it's not failing, it's learning. Of course, they're like failures, and with every failure you learn. So especially in growth marketing and growth hacking, if you fail like with an experiment, this is actually nothing negative, because you learn something. You learn something what not to do, or what else you can do. So always really like foster also like failing or learning in that sense. And I think it's also important to take on new challenges regularly, to think of them as opportunities, to value really effort over talent. I think if you put in the hours, the work, the sweat equity, then you can really become good at the things that you want to become good at. And last but not least, I think it's also good to take time to reflect. So make reflection and planning a habit for yourself, not only like for the company, but really for yourself on a personal level. So do a weekly check-in and think of what are the things that you're struggling with. So journaling is not only a trend like on Instagram, but it's really a good thing to also do, like to foster this growth mindset. Think of also the things that you want to learn this week, the things that you want to become better at, maybe some things that will help you to get out of your comfort zone. Also think of the people you can reach out to help in a week, so that you can also strengthen your connections, your relationships with others. And last but not least, what I can really recommend here is to do like a daily reflection at the end of the day. So think of the things you were struggling with, what made you really think hard. Other there's any like new strategies, tactics that you tried, and what worked, what didn't work that well. Think of mistakes that you made, and think of the things that you learned during this day. I think this can be really a valuable asset for you on your journey to become a growth and digital marketer. So to convince recruiters, I think growth marketers need to show and don't tell. So you really need to show the things you are capable of. So I've mentioned building a portfolio in the beginning as a growth marketer or digital marketer, and a portfolio is usually something designers do, right, to apply for a job. So you do have your portfolio with your web designs, for example. You do have your portfolio of art, whatever. And I think we can also use a portfolio in digital and growth marketing to showcase your work and really show what you're capable of, where your skills are, and where you're an expert in. So some recommendations here to get started. First of all, I think you can start a side project. So it has never been easier to get started in digital marketing, right? Because if you're joining this webinar, you already have everything to get started. You do have like a laptop, a computer, or you do have a smartphone to get started. And actually you can start an online store even on your smartphone or your tablet. So there are so many great tools out there that are just waiting for you to be used. For example, you can build a very simple online store for selling handcrafted stuff of a friend with Shopify, which is actually free, or which comes at a very low cost. Or of course, if you do have like hobbies, or if you do have some areas of interest you're already like an expert in, maybe like you're really good with dogs, you do have like skills in agility training or whatever, then why don't do like a podcast on this topic? Or also think of how can you help others. Maybe you can build like a database for co-working spaces, cafes where people can work from in your city. Or you can build a website about a topic that interests you. You can even start like a blog on just your thoughts, your readings, whatever interests you. I'm sure you do have some interests that are worth sharing, and just get out there. It's really easy to get started. You can go to wordpress.com, start your own blog. You can get in the website really easily at Squarespace. You can start a podcast with very minimal setup, and for online stores, just go to Shopify or just look for any other e-commerce solution to get started. So with these things, these side projects that might also turn out to become like a source of passive income for you, you are able to really get your hands dirty, right? And what I want to encourage you is really to be professional with this side project. So work with this side project like it's like a client of yours, or if it's like the company you're working for, take it really seriously. So implement Google Analytics there. Maybe run a small campaign for it on Facebook if it's an online store. Just get really like your hands on. So this is a great opportunity to learn things on the go, to also do the things that you want to try out. So it's like really a playground for you. And I've actually did this myself. So I've started like actually during school, just building up like some affiliate websites. And this was really like a great learning experience, because there I was able to start playing around like with Google Analytics, and also Google, like embedding Google AdSense and the Amazon PartnerNet to get like affiliate commissions on the long term, but also to try running ads to those affiliate websites. So I think this is the best thing that you can do to get like started in the field, and also to get started building your own portfolio. And maybe in the end, if this is something you're passionate about, this can be like not only your side project, but maybe this really also becomes like your main project, your main thing that you do for a living. Also, like like on the other side, what you can do is you can join an existing charity, an existing organization, NGO, NPO, and help them in digital marketing. So there are many organizations out there looking for support. Just take a look at your community, at your surroundings, your network. If there's someone needing like help in digital marketing, growth marketing, reach out to them and offer your help. I think that's also a great way to get your hands dirty. Of course, it's not like really like a playground, like getting your own side project done. But also here, you can bring in your thoughts. You can try out things. Maybe you can run a little campaign, and also like here, really, it's for a good cause. So if you're helping like a good cause, this is of course also a great thing. If you do have like your side project running, if you do have also like maybe you're involved in some organizations, meetups, and so on, I think then it's really also important to keep your social media presence up to date. So recruiters will take a look at your Facebook, Instagram, and of course your LinkedIn profile. So make sure that those are not clean, but those are really also up to date. Make sure that you also showcase your skills there. So if you apply for a position in like specialized towards social media marketing, and like this company is e-com company selling products to a young audience, and they are very active on TikTok, and your responsibility will also be to manage the TikTok channel, then you should also be active on this channel before joining the team there, because it's really important that you understand the platform, that you understand like really the specifics of TikTok in that case. So because every channel is different, and I think it's a good idea to try out the platforms, to really stay like up to date with those platforms, and also understand not only the audience there, but also how people are communicating on those platforms, and like what content is used on those platforms, and what brands content and so on is really also successful on those channels. So also, for example, if you want to become like an expert in email marketing and also join like an organization, a team with that skill, maybe you can think of building like an email list, a mailing list on just like some recommendations for your city or so. So really become an expert in the channels you want to also like sell to the companies as an employee, as a freelancer, as a contractor, whatever. Really also be clear about your T-shape. Be clear what are your weaknesses. Be concise about like what's missing in your foundation, maybe that you need to catch up on. Maybe you want to like reread some stuff on psychology or copywriting. Maybe you want to catch up a bit on that, but also really be sure to be clear on like the channels, the skills you want to become like an expert in. So think of positioning yourself in the market, in the job market. And also, if you do like side projects or if you tap into this maker space and build your own products and services, then make sure to showcase your work. For example, if you're building some tools, some databases, some helpful stuff, make sure to check out Product Hunt and also maybe put it out there. And also try to think of it as a business. Your own side project is a business, and really do all the things with the perfect way actually there. And be eager to experiment and try out new things. Last but not least, to build your portfolio, I think it can be helpful to engage in communities. This could be like Facebook groups, could be also like on LinkedIn, of course, and be sure to really share your learnings, but also try to engage like in conversations with others from the field. To build your own reputation. So usually we're not building only a portfolio for ourselves, but also, of course, we want to position ourselves as an expert. We want to build some kind of reputation so that we are, of course, like attractive to recruiters out there. And I think what's important here is to be able to talk about your success stories and your failures. And there you not only have to talk to the recruiters about like the failures in like the positions you held before, but this is the perfect opportunity to talk about your side projects, and also to demonstrate your knowledge and skills. A side project or your engagement in an NGO, NPO is perfect, because then you can really provide like a clear picture, a 360-degree picture on what you have been doing, and of course also be able to elaborate a bit on your success stories of the companies you were working before is a good thing. I think it's super important to know your purpose, know your why, and I think this will, if you're really convinced about your why and the company you're applying to is also fitting your why, I think this is the best thing that could happen. And like the company, the recruiters, the people you will talk there to, they can feel it that you are matching like their why. I think I really truly believe in that. And so it's that really important to maybe take some time off during the weekends and think of your purpose here, and think of why you're doing that and what's like your goal also here. So next thing, be clear on your goals, your expectations, not only towards the company, but also yourself. And I mentioned before, recruiters or companies you're applying to will, of course, take a look at your social media profiles. And I think nowadays it's like really super high priority to have an up-to-date LinkedIn profile. So have like all the positions that are relevant to the position you're applying to listed there. Have your skills, maybe have some endorsements from colleagues, have some maybe recommendations, ask like a friend or colleagues for recommendations, authentic ones, of course, not fake ones. And also, if you do find the time, and if you have something to tell, create meaningful content on LinkedIn. This could be posts, this could be video content, share your experiences, your insights, and also really engage here, like in the groups, communities I mentioned before, with others. So comment on great content, add your thoughts. Also really try to build long-lasting relationships on LinkedIn with experts, with colleagues from the field. I think also for a potential job interview, it's good to be able to know or to talk a bit about like experts in the industry. For example, talk about a recent book or a blog that you follow, that you read, but also do not forget about the basics, the foundation basically of the T-shaped marketer model, so that you understand like the basics of branding, of copywriting, and maybe also know some book titles and some resources in that area as well. So when you choose, like just a little input on choosing growth projects that you could work on. If you pursue really like a career in digital and growth marketing, I think it's worth looking into those projects that have a high impact and that might be a bit low in popularity. Because low impact, low popularity, of course, is something that we want to do, but sometimes we aim for the high impact, high popularity projects. And with projects, I mean, if you want to go like for a side project, for an engagement in NGO, NPO organization, or also like, of course, for companies. If you're going to seek a new position, also think maybe of the projects they are doing and take a look at like their impact and popularity. Of course, we also don't want to do like the low impact, high popularity stuff. I think here good advice is really to focus on the things that have high impact for the company. Could be increasing retention, could be increasing, improving the acquisition, the onboarding, activation. That might be a bit of low popularity. And those are usually the hard things, right? Those are usually things that take a lot of effort, a lot of time, but those are also the things that will make you grow and will help you to also sell yourself to some extent to the project, to the companies. And of course, this is nothing I made up. So this is from Brian Balfour, a very well-known growth marketer, growth hacker. Also linked it like below here in the slides if you want to catch up on that. And the very last thing I want to talk about, and then I want to open the Q&A actually, is the known versus the unknown. So where you should place yourself. If you always focus on those things that are like you already know to yourself, like safe skills that you already like mastered, then you will become, of course, like bored. Then you will think of other stuff that you can do, and you actually, there is no potential for growth here, right? So you're not stepping out of your comfort zone, so to say. So if you're always like doing, for example, Facebook ads, and you're an expert in Facebook ads, and you do not do anything else, so it's 100% known to you, actually, at some point, you will get a bit bored, and you might actually look for something else, right? And on the other hand, if you are striving for completely new skills and projects or work that is completely new to you, but do not have any skills or foundational knowledge, this will also burn you out in the end. So this will, like on the one hand, we have like boredom, and on the other hand, we have like overwhelming work, which is also not a good thing, because you will not be able to grow here either. So it's a good thing actually to balance this out a bit. So to really focus on the things that are partly new to you, but also already like where you have some skills maybe already there in as well. So think back of the T-shaped marketer model. Think of like maybe these areas of skills that you're not an expert yet into, but maybe you have some skills that you can already like build up onto. And I think those are like the sweet spots, really like where you do have already some knowledge, but of course where you also want to build more knowledge, more skills, get more hands-on. I think this like 50-50, right out of the comfort zone, but still attainable, still doable. I think these are like the right kind of work, right kind of projects that you should focus on if you want to get like to become better and to grow also as a person, but also like for your career. And that's actually like my input so far. And I want to open up the comment section for any Q&As, and I see like some comments in there already. So Alta, do you want to select like the questions and I answer them?
Yes, we just go with the first one. This is great, like curious. This is really great info. Will the deck be sent out after? Yes, we actually do a follow-up email with a link to the video, to the recording, and also the presentation that Dominik did. Okay, we have another one.
Okay. In my experience, one of the main goals of marketing is sales enablement. What is your experience with it? Do you think digital marketers should try to work as sales as well to understand it better? That's a very good point. I think marketing and sales shouldn't be like silos. I think they should complement each other. So I think sales enablement is really something that's going to be more and more important, because sometimes remarketing generates really crappy leads, hand them over to sales, they're not happy with that. Maybe sales do like direct sales on their own without engaging with marketing at all. So sales enablement is a huge topic, I think, for now and the future, to be able to understand what salespeople are looking for, what are like qualified leads, also to understand how marketing can support sales better. So are maybe like marketing materials already existing that you can hand over to sales so that they have like an easier life? I think that's also a potential like in a lot of companies. And I think the easiest thing to do is to get marketing and sales together at least once a week, and do not see them as like separate departments anymore, but rather see them like as integrated teams that work towards like the same goals, which also is like, for example, acquiring new qualified, happy customers. In terms of skills, I think you can like really add also sales skills in many areas into your marketing career. For example, copywriting. I think also the psychology part that I mentioned for the foundation of the skill set. I think that's a good thing to dip into. There are many great courses on sales enablement out there that you can take. So I would argue it's like a good idea to also become an expert in them if you want to also drive this forward in your company or in the future position you are looking forward to.
Okay, so we hope that you have your answer. We will move forward to the next one.
Are certifications such as Google Analytics, Google Ads certifications, HubSpot certifications, etc., really important on the market, or should I focus more on practical things? Thank you, Daria. I think those industry certificates you mentioned, like from HubSpot Academy or from Google, are a great thing to have like on your LinkedIn profile, but also like have like in your CV. But I think also those do not really demonstrate practical knowledge or hands-on knowledge. So I think it's good to have them, but I see it more like as a hygiene factor than like really something that shows off that you can do it. Because you can have the Google Ads certification and actually never run an ad, right? So also what I see with especially like some of the Google certifications, they cover like a lot of basics, a lot of theory, but actually when it gets towards to really hands-on knowledge, like also like in the Google Analytics course, for example, you never see Google Analytics itself, but you do get like some insights on the basic concepts. So I would also look forward to, I would look into like getting your hands on and also do like some things with the tools, not only get certified, but also gain some knowledge.
Okay.
So both.
Thank you, Dominik, and thank you, Daria, for the questions. So I would move forward with the next one.
Sure. So what kind of data analytics skills should I get if I want to work in the performance marketing field is a question from Pietro. Thank you for the question. I think like data analytics, there are some like basic things from statistics in general, from how to work like with data that you should know, how to manipulate data. I think it's a good idea to get familiar like with Google Sheets, with Excel, how to combine data, how to work like with exported data, for example. Also how to make meaning of the data. I think that's actually the most important skill, how to interpret the data that you collect, because we are collecting a lot of data. Thanks to GDPR, we're not collecting that much data anymore, but we do still collect some data. And I think it's important to understand what are conclusions then that you can draw out of the data that you collect. So not only be able to, for example, take a look at the numbers in Google Analytics, but also draw conclusions like, okay, obviously people are dropping off at the checkout page, so we should do something around like the checkout page, for example. In terms of raw skills, I think you do not have to become like a data scientist, but you should be able to understand like different data formats, how to maybe convert like data, understand what's like statistical significance and stuff like that. So more like very like basic, I would say basic knowledge.
And the next one, Bruno.
From Bruno. The harder thing is how to convince a client or HR manager about the importance of the results more than CV skills. Usually they don't work on goals. How can you convince them about that? Yeah, that's a very, very legit question, and I have to absolutely agree. So it can happen that if you talk to a recruiter or HR manager, that they just take a look at your CV and maybe just certificates Daria mentioned before, and just like your formal education, and they do not care about your goals. I would think of that as something like of the 3 overlapping circles I've shown you in my presentation. So thinking of also like the company. So is this something you want to work for? So is this company, if they are not just looking for skills on the paper, is this a company you want to work for? Is this like the culture you want to work for? Is this a company that also values goals, like in the end, like during your involvement there, or do they just value basically your formal education and your LinkedIn profile? I think in that case, and it's super hard because recruiters are usually like a bit like unlinked from the teams. So I think this is something hiring, recruiting companies, or in general like HR managers should consider in the future. Also thinking of really the needs of the teams. But in the end, it's really about like selling yourself, and maybe you can sell on your CV skills, but on the other hand, also convince them that the goals are important, and it's important that you do have hands-on knowledge. I'm sorry that I cannot provide like a complete answer to that, but that's something that has to change also on the job market. For yourself, I would say, I would recommend to ask yourself, is this a company I also want to work for if they don't value experience, and if they're just looking to that skills on your CV, on like your positions and so on.
Yes, I want to add something. Actually, this is an issue that a lot of people have when they try to find a job. Recruiters sometimes ask for a professional with a lot of experience for a junior position. So it's really hard sometimes for beginners to start with something. But don't give up, Bruno. You will get there just like everyone.
Yes, don't give up. That's a good advice.
The next one.
From Julia, what are, in your opinion, the most important soft skills for digital marketer? I think in terms of soft skills, of course, this is not specific to digital marketers, but you should be good in communication, in working in a team. Also, especially, I think a good soft skill, if we're like going to more in direction of like remote companies, is to express yourself in a variety of content. So in text, but also, of course, like when talking to others, I think that is important. Also, as a digital marketer, I think very often you do need like the buy-in from other departments, from the C-level, from the founders. So it's also good if you can sell. So I think it's good to be able to convince us of your ideas, to be confident in what you're doing. But usually you build confidence like with your experience. So that's I think taken care of by itself. But I would say like number 1 skill is teamwork, and number 2 skill is like efficient communication, and number 3 is selling internally and getting like the buy-in from other teams and the managers.
Okay, so we move to the other one. Thank you, Julia, for your question meanwhile. And Adriana, I'm not quite sure I get the question, but maybe we can figure something out.
Okay. Yes, let's try to figure something out. Adriana asks what we could do differently to start a career in digital marketing in a new country. So I would interpret this question, understand it like that. If you move like to different country, what you can do differently, right? In digital marketing. Maybe Adriana could just answer in the chat if that's correct. We do get it right.
I do actually get a lot of people interested in our program that are coming from another country and they want to start a career in digital marketing. Any advice for that specific group of people?
I think like the only thing that's maybe different if you're like moving or looking for moving to another country is that maybe the channels like specific to this country are a bit different. So, for example, maybe if you are in the US, then TikTok is already like everywhere, right? But if you're in Europe, TikTok is just like it's accelerating, it's growing. We start talking about it. So, and maybe if like in Austria, you do have like some specific niche channels compared like to other countries, or also like even if you think of search engines, like Google is dominating, of course, like the Western market, but like in China or in Russia, you do have like different search engines. So I think if you want to move like to a different country, to a new country, what's definitely a good idea is to become like a bit familiar like with the platforms that are common there, that are commonly used there, that are popular there. Also, I think it's a good idea to become like a bit familiar with the culture there, if there are like differences to your country, because communication also depends on the culture, of course. Maybe get a bit familiar like with what are current trends in this country. Also, of course, like specific to the industry you're looking into, like the company you're looking to join. Yeah, just do like some research basically on the country and the most popular channels. I think that would be good advice.
Thank you, Dominik. So at the moment, we don't have new questions in the chat, though I do have one for you because we do this kind of events very often, but I never asked you, when did you start to work in marketing? And I don't know, like the first steps, what is the most challenging thing?
Yeah, so I actually started in digital marketing in, I would say like 2006 or so, 2005 maybe. So quite some time ago. And I actually started like building my own affiliate websites during like attending college for higher education, I think it's called, like in an international manner. So it's like a school where they teach you like technical skills. So this was like mainly like for IT and business administration. So it's like a college, you could say. And actually there I started like building my own affiliate websites. This is also why I'm really promoting like this side project aspect, because there I was able to really get my hands dirty, right? So implement Google Analytics, really try out different things, really have like your own playground basically for trying out new things. And I think this really helped also myself to understand myself better. So what I do like and about marketing, what I do like, where I want to like become better on the long term. I think that helped me really with like building the side projects. And yeah, I think so. This was the start. So getting like just a website out there. It was like around Microsoft Windows, and actually this turned out like to be like in the end an involvement like with working with Microsoft as a contractor and so on. So this really paid out well for me in the end. And yeah, I think that's also the advice for everyone out there. Take some time and find out what you really enjoy doing, where you're good at, embrace your weaknesses and your strengths, be clear about that. And I think like also like joining like organizations, NGOs, NPOs, charities is a good thing where you can build your skill set and your experience.
Thank you very much. And we still have one question here.
Okay.
Curious M. I will put it visible for everyone. We still have 2 minutes, so we can answer.
Cool. Thank you so much for the question. For freelance work, how do you determine your rate to charge clients? That's a very tricky one. There is a concept called value-based pricing that you can Google yourself, which I think is very helpful for freelancers, for contractors, but I think in general for everyone, where you think not like in hourly rates or like in work packages also, but rather think of what is the value that you're providing to a company. So because if, for example, you're working on a Facebook ad campaign, for an online store, you could charge like the hours you spend on that campaign. But on the long term, you will get like more efficient. And like in the beginning, like as a beginner, it might take you 10 hours to set up the campaign. And as an expert, like in 1 year, it might take you just 1 hour to set up the campaign. And this would actually mean with the same rates, you would make less money, or even if you increase the rate, you still would make less money. So I would rather approach it like this and think of, okay, this Facebook ad campaign will bring in, let's say, 10 new clients, and each client is worth, I don't know, $100. So you know that you generate like $1,000 of revenue%, maybe it's 20-30%. That's something that's up to you. But I think changing from thinking in hourly rates to thinking of what's your contribution to the company times in terms of value is better. Because like with hourly rates, usually you end up really in, when you get more efficient, you get less for the work, although it's like still worth the same or even more because you're an expert. And also make sure that you're not paid for the hours spent, but also paid for your experience and your knowledge, because you do spend a lot of time in getting to a super efficient Facebook ad expert, for example. Okay, cool.
Even,
I see that you reset it.
Yes, we also have one. Do we take another minute to answer? Research value-based pricing.
I think this is the answer to the question, right?
Then we are totally in time. Thank you very much for joining. I hope we will have you on other webinars or events that we are going to do with Dominik. So stay updated through our website or on Eventbrite. So it would be really nice to have you again. I saw that we were here from different countries, from India, USA, Austria, Italy. So it was really nice to have a really international group, let's say. So thank you very much for joining. Dominik, thank you as always for your great presentation. And I hope you have all a nice evening, guys. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Have a good evening.